Hi again then guys, and so we've got another requested PP specific build for you today, and this time it's a request for a 600 PP level build on the Nissan GT-R Black Edition. This is a car with a huge amount of potential, one of the most popular in terms of actual use builds that I've ever done was actually on a Black Edition, the GT-R one at 700 PP. So this is essentially, from my point of view, a kind of toned back version of that essential concept. Now with the GT-R, you've got a huge amount of weight, and straight line performance isn't really an issue anyway, so it's actually similar to tuning a muscle car, although you wouldn't expect it to be. Get rid of that excess weight, and you don't really need to worry about the power as much, because that'll just take care of itself. Very much like with tuning a muscle car. Now I've gone for sport soft tyres. If you go for racing ones, obviously it will be even quicker. For the suspension, we've got the ride height on 100, front and rear. You can go even lower. The springs have increased to 1475 and 750. The dampers to 4, anti-roll I've left on 3. We've got neutral camber and tow. We'll come back to the gearbox just a second, or in just a second. As usual, for the diff I've got the lowest initial torque, highest acceleration and braking to loosen up the steering. For the torque split I've gone for 2080. Now you can go even lower, send more torque to the back, say 1090, and that will loosen up the front end even more, but it will also make the car more tail happy. So it depends what you want. As far as power, as I said, we're not worrying about power as much as lowering the weight. We have, however, increased the power. So we've got an oil change, stage 3 engine tune, sports exhaust, and then reduced the power limiter by 0.1%. And as far as the weight, the full weight loss package. Now it's still a pretty hefty car, at 1386 kilos, but that's a huge loss compared to what it was originally. Now as far as the gearbox, this is primarily a track build, not a straight line machine. So we've got an auto setting of 230, then individual gears of 3.3, 2125, 1525, 1150, 925 and 775, with a final drive of 3.5. Now if you do need more top end potential, or say draft potential, just lower that final drive to say 3.3, 3.2, or however far you need to go basically. But that's overall for the build of the car. Now let's take it out to Suzuka to see what it's capable of. Now the GT-R is, in all of its forms, a strong performance car. The Black Edition is, in my opinion, the best all-round model. It has an excellent price, more power than the normal models, and although it is heavy, it's still not ridiculously heavy. Now around the track, it's always going to be strong. Around Suzuka, it's not necessarily the most ideal of choices because it is still a big, reasonably heavy car. It can, of course, though, give you a strong lap. It can go under 2 minutes relatively easily with the right driver, especially if you go to racing tyres. And overall, it's a dependable car on pretty much any track at the 600 PP level. This won't necessarily always give you an easy win, but being a GT-R, the potential of a win is always there. The weight is nice and low compared to what it was, the power is high enough to do the job, and it's just a good all-round package. That's what makes the GT-R so good. So if you do decide to use this 600 PP build for your Black Edition GT-R, obviously I hope you find it fun and indeed competitive, and if you'd like to keep up with other builds like this in the future, be sure to slap subscribe down below for that. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.